Now, I'm not sure if you could see this, but I did this pass with a carbide tip, and I'm seeing an awful lot of radial lines there getting dragged across. Previously, I had initially did it with this tool, an Easy Wood, but it's got a small radius cutter on the end, and it'll give you a smoother cut. So when you're getting down to your profile that you want to try to keep it as smooth as possible with the correct tool. Some people will use a skew and bring it across. If your skew technique is really good, you'll have less radial lines. But what I like to do when I'm getting almost down to my final profile, I wish I had somebody else here to film this because it's hard to do one-handed, is that I'll use this edge of the skew just like this and sort of shave it down and get it a nice profile. The deeper lines that you get when you're getting down to your final shape, the harder it is to sand it out, and you're going to be wasting an awful lot of sandpaper. So let me get back to turning this thing a little bit more, and I'll be right back. Now, Chris, on this pass I did it with a skew, and I was pretty much using it as a scraper, going this way with it, making sure that I'm not going to chip out the ends. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit of radial line, but what I would like to do is stop it kind of high of the bushing and sand it down the rest of the way. This is a little too high for me, but this way I get rid of those marks. Alright, now we get to the part of the movie where I got it down to the profile I want, just proud of the bushings, very few radial lines, and I'm using regular old Home Depot 400 grit on the red here and 800 grit on the black, just to smooth out the lines around here. You don't have to really invest $1 million in all the Abranet and all these fancy sandpapers they want to sell you. Basically, you just want to smooth out those lines the best you can, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Whoa. Alright, so I took this down with the 800. First, I was watching the lines disappear as it turned. Then you want to go across, oh geez, I can't see this, across the blank like this and smooth it out. Then wipe it down with a cloth as it's turning. Okay, and you'll see a lot of your lines disappearing. The only thing I can tell you is that when you're dealing with hardwoods like rosewood, cocobolo, anything that's really dense, ironwood, stuff like that, you want to stay proud of the bushing. This way when you sand down, you're going to get rid of all those high spots on there. A softer wood, it's easier to sand. Burls, very easy to sand. There's no grain that you have to deal with really. It just goes all over the place. So I want to do the second pass with the 800. Now I wiped this down with some denatured alcohol, and you can see a lot of the rosewood coming off that were laying in the pores here. You want to try to clean that stuff out the best you can. You don't have to marinate it in it, just a little bit on the towel here and let her come around. Let me see, I'll use the other side here. Start to see it shine up a little bit. It'll evaporate off, but you can see you still get more goodies out of there. If you don't get it almost completely out, what's going to happen, that fine dust is going to really mess with the adhesion of your CA or whatever finish that you're using on there. Okay, now we're ready to finish, begin finishing. I would suggest using this type of setup here, and do not use CA glue with your bushings, or else it's going to glue it to the bushings. It's going to be a mess, and it's going to take you a lot longer to do and get them apart. This is just stuff you can get at Woodcraft, or you can make your own, however you do it. It's just HDPE, high density polyethylene, and you make your own little bushings out of it. This way the CA doesn't stick to there, it'll go on here. I want to start with thin CA first. Okay, give me a good base coat, and then I'll do medium CA after that. Boy, I really wish I could do this with somebody else holding the camera. It's tough. Now I know what a one-arm paper hanger feels like. Oh, and I don't know if you can actually see this close up here. Oh, Jesus. There are pretty much no radial lines on this blank. It's pretty dark. It almost looks like cocobolo, but that's just the nature of the rosewood. But I think when you start shining up, the CA is going to really magnify any grain that's on there. Jesus Christ, this really terrible video. My bad. So let me move on here. All right, 3 coats of the thin CA on here. You want to do this in front of your exhaust. Once you apply it, just drop it in a box because it's going to start to smoke on your paper towel. You want it to suck out and go someplace where it's not going to go into your lungs. Looking good so far. All right, this is 3 applications of medium CA. It's starting to shine up really well. Again, being a dark wood, it's really kind of difficult to see a lot of profile, a lot of grain texture in it. You're going to see some lines, but that's just from the towel, paper towel putting on the CA glue, but that sands off. So I like to do about 12, maybe no more than 14 applications of medium CA. You don't want to goop it on. You want to put it on a small dot, put it across, and just mist a little spritz of accelerator across it. This way you're not going to have a lot of bubbles. So what I like to do, I like to cut these little pieces. I get 3 applications of CA per pad. So there's 3, 6, 9, and 12 passes there, and that's including the 3 I already did, so there's 15. But Easy does it with the CA, and Easy does it with the accelerator. I could probably have this running while I'm doing it, but the noise from the dust collection system is going to really drown out everything. Oh, and very important, you notice I clean up all the shrapnel that came off of the blanks here. You want to keep your area clean. Give it a good vacuum, get all the stuff, all the dust, everything you can out of the way. This way things don't fly up and stick to the CA as it's turning. Little tiny particles will really make a mess. So keep your work area clean. Alright, so you're saying 15 coats of CA? Well, yeah, because you're going to wind up sanding off the first 5 or 6 coats, so you're going to wind up with 9 coats by the time you're done and it's all shined up. So there it is. I'm going to wait about an hour and let it all set up, although I usually just go right into it. Now, you may be able to see, maybe not, just a little bit of lines on here, but that's just from the CA. That gets all sanded off. But there's something else I'm going to do. I'm just going to take some still pictures that I do before I start sanding, which is clean up these ends here, because you're going to have some CA overhang and you want it to be clean when you start pressing in your parts. This way there's no gaps between your plating and the wood. This is what I'm talking about. You see that little bit of a mess on there? Come on, focus. All this money for this phone. Yeah, you want to get that off of there. I'm going to take a still picture of how I do it. Now here's my handy dandy little invention. Just a Roy Obie cordless drill, a couple pieces of double-sided tape, fender washer with some sandpaper on it, my little wooden dowel that I turned that's going to actually fit the junior body here. As I turn it, I'm just going to push it against here as I'm turning it. It's going to spin and it's going to shave off all that debris that's on the end of this here blank. And if you notice, there's a little black mark in there. I marked this before I started it. This way I know which end is what. Well, as it goes to the cap and to the body, and things are falling on the floor, but that's part of it because I'm one-handed. Ah. Clean water, micro mesh. Grab one of these 800 grits. Wet it. Now, I made one pass. It was just a little bit of water and wet sanded it. And see that coming off of there? That's some of the CA. So you know your first pass is going to knock down a lot of the high spots. Okay? But make sure if you're going to do this, you have good exhaust here. It's kind of gnarly if you get this stuff in your lungs. All right, very important. After you've sanded it, as it's turning, okay, and then you wipe it off with your towel here, go across while you're turning it, while you're spinning it around, go across, and you want to go with the grain. That'll give you a smoother finish. It looks a little pale right now, but right now we're in polishing mode, so this is going to turn off, and as you're getting through all the micro mesh grits down here, it's going to come up really, really shiny, and you won't have any radial lines. Alright, this is with the first micro mesh pad. You can come across fairly quickly. See that? Oh, sorry, my bad. You can come across fairly quickly, but you see some of the glue coming off? Wipe it off of there. Man, I can't do this one-handed. It's hideous. Bring it across fairly quickly. You can round over the ends if you want. Wipe it off of there. Stop the lathe. And then, with the same pad, go across it. Turn it. Go across it. And do that for your first, I would say, 3 grits of the micro mesh. The brown one, the green one, and the black one. Alright, let me get to this because this is nerve-wracking doing this one-handed. And it's kind of fun though. Okay, I went through all the grits. Now I want to polish up this last piece here with some Ultra Gloss. And you don't really need to invest in these highfalutin polishing wheels with the diamond this and that. Grab yourself a bottle of this and go over to Harbor Freight and grab yourself one of them air polishing rags. That's all you need. You put a little bit of this on the end, wipe it across at a, I would say about maybe 900 RPM, and then wipe it clean and then get another clean polishing rag, and then you're good to go. We'll see if I can do this one-handed. It's just a little bit in the rag here. Just take it and bring her on across. And just keep on going. You don't have to lean into it. Nice and easy. It'll buff out the shine. Go to the ends. And just keep it moving. Keep it moving. Then you grab a clean part of the cloth. You bring it across. And, ooh, baby, what a shine. You get another end of the rag here that's nice and clean. Buff it across. And you wind up with something that looks really, really shiny. Like that. Looks like glass. No lines, no runs, no drips, no errors, nobody left on. Yeah, so this polished up really nice. I guess it's a little bit of practice, a little bit of everything else. But make sure that you got a nice smooth surface to start with. And don't forget to mark the inside here. I put a little, where is it? There's a little black mark in there. This way you can line up the grains on stuff that actually has grain that you can see when you put it on the pen. So you grab this and put this on a Junior Gent. You could put this on a Junior George. You could put this on a Junior Seau. No, you can't. He's dead. But you can put it anywhere you want. And that's that.